Hi there, my name is Jared Hyman, and this is my ISU vlog. The book I've decided to use for my ISU is called The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. According to the back of the book, Roger Ackroyd knew too much. He knew that the woman he loved had poisoned her brutal first husband. He suspected also that someone had been blackmailing her. Then, tragically, came the news that she had taken her own life with a drug overdose. But the Evening Post brought Roger one last fatal scrap of information. Unfortunately, before he could finish reading the letter, he was stabbed to death. The rest of the book is the telling of the night and the investigation that occurred afterward through the eyes of Dr. James Shepherd, one of the many people who were at Roger's house the night of his murder. To me personally, I enjoyed this book, and there are many reasons why. One being that the book is absolutely littered with fantastic rhetorical devices. One example being metaphor. On page 49, the narrator notes, "He appeared impetuously in the doorway, then stopped dead, his face very white." This was the author comparing the man's fear shown in his face to the color white. Another example of metaphor would be found on page 62, in which Dr. Shepherd says, "If Parker heard anything about blackmail, he must have been listening outside this door with his ear glued to the keyhole." Obviously, Parker's ear wasn't actually glued. It was just the author's way of saying that Parker may have been eavesdropping. Another rhetorical device I found is a simile on page 65, in which Inspector Davis says, "Lord, what an edge. A child could drive that into a man as easy as cutting butter." This is Christie's way of saying that the dagger is so sharp it could cut through flesh as simple as, well, cutting through butter. Another example of a rhetorical device that I found throughout the book is personification. One example being on page 91, when Poirot, talking about the furniture, says a tongue is not enough. They would have to also have eyes and ears. But do not be too sure that these dead things are always dumb. To me, they speak sometimes. Chairs, tables, they have their message. This is Poirot's way of saying that each piece of furniture may contain clues that could help the investigation. Something else that's interesting about this book is the time period it was based in compared to nowadays. For example, the language that they spoke back then was very different compared to what we say now. A perfect example that highlights this was said by Miss Ackroyd on page 117, and she said, "That Russell woman, something very queer about her, and so I've always said." Queer back then only meant strange, as nowadays, it is a term used by the LGBTQ community, meaning homosexual. Another example of the time gap between the story and nowadays is Dr. Shepherd's sister role throughout the entire story, in which she acts as a simple housemaid, while the guys do other things such as going on walks and solving the case. She throws her input in every once in a while, however she is not used in the actual investigation. Overall, I would rate this book a solid 8 out of 10 stars for having very unique and different characters and a fantastic storyline that twisted and turned at any moment. I would absolutely recommend to anyone to pick up this book and read it right away. You will enjoy it. Until next time, this is Jared Hyman signing off. Thank you very much for your time.